The Kindest channel is in session, and tonight the docket is your breakfast. 7 defendants, all of them sold to you as good for you. None of them charged with being food. This is not a cooking show, this is court. The label is the product. The thing inside is packaging for the words on the outside. The bag ended up in your kitchen because there was a leaf on it. Somewhere around the 4th defendant, your own kitchen walks into the room. And no, that is not a coincidence. Buckle up. One experiment on the internet tonight. And he volunteered, which is legally different. No lecture at the end. First to the stand, the one with the leaf. Granola. Opening the case file. Oats, honey, a picture of a field at sunrise, and a portion size chosen by a lawyer. Typical bag runs around 22 grams of sugar per 100. That is dessert arithmetic wearing hiking boots. The suggested portion is 40 grams, which is 4 tablespoons, which is not a breakfast, which is why nobody on this planet has ever poured 40 grams. The pouring stops when the bowl looks like breakfast, which in your house is somewhere near 120. The bag is not lying to you. The bag is counting on you not owning a scale. Exhibit A. The honest bow. We put the bag on a kitchen scale and asked our defendant to serve one portion, the way it is served in your house at 7 in the morning with one eye open. Out came the cereal, and then out came the sugar, actual crystals, weighed separately because that is the part the leaf does not mention. 28 grams in the bowl. That is 7 teaspoons standing in a row on the counter, looking at you. The intern asked whether the honey counts as sugar. The court reminded him that honey is sugar with a better publicist. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Dessert in a bag, 3 out of 10. Not because it is poison, it is not. It is oats and syrup. Because you were sold a hillside and handed a crumble, and you are the one who put it in a jar labeled healthy. Next, the defendant that turns 4 apples into 90 seconds. Smoothie. Bright pink, extremely confident. 4 pieces of fruit go in the top. Nobody sits down and eats 4 apples. Your jaw has opinions and your stomach sends letters, and the second apple is where both start writing. Blended, the same fruit arrives in 90 seconds through a straw, and nothing in you gets a chance to object. The fiber is still in there, technically, shredded into something your body reads as juice. You did not cheat. You just removed every break the fruit came with. Exhibit B. The straw test. We put the same fruit in 2 places. On the left, whole, on a plate, with a knife. On the right, in the cup, blended, with a straw. The plate took our volunteer 19 minutes, and she left a pair. The cup took 90 seconds, and she asked if there was more. Same fruit, same sugar. One of them has breaks, and one of them has a straw. The court notes that the cup also costs $7, which is the only part of it that is slow. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Fruit with the breaks off, 4 out of 10. It is genuinely fruit. It is also the fastest way ever invented to eat an orchard while standing up. Next, the defendant whose entire personality is a number that refers to something else. Segment The Mailbag. Paper. A real stamp. From Marcy in Sacramento, and I will read it exactly as sent. Dear Sir, I have had a smoothie every single morning for 11 years. Spinach, banana, berries, protein powder and a spoon of peanut butter. I am 58. I have my own teeth, and I do not need a man in a suit telling me my breakfast is on trial. Marcy, the court has no notes on your teeth, and 11 years of anything is a discipline this program does not have. The court only observed that spinach, banana, berries, powder and a spoon of peanut butter is not a drink, it is a lunch, and you are having it at 6 in the morning while standing at the counter. Case dismissed on the teeth. The lunch stands. Keep them coming. Back to the case files. 0% yogurt. The 0 on the front is the whole defense, and it refers to fat, which nobody in this room was worried about. Take the fat out of yogurt and it tastes like cold disappointment. So something has to go back in to make it food again. And what goes back in is sugar and fruit puree. Around 13 grams in a small fruit cup, which is 3 teaspoons in a pot the size of your fist. They removed the fat and sold you the word. 2 of them went down at once, because they are small, and small is the other word doing work here. Exhibit C. Read the site. We asked 6 people to look at the spot for 5 seconds and say what they had learned. 6 out of 6 said 0. 0 what? Said the court. 0, they said again with total confidence, as if the number applied to everything in the universe. Then we turned the pot around and made them read the side, and the room went quiet the way a room goes quiet when the thing was written down the whole time. The intern said he still trusted it. The intern trusts everything with a lid. The verdict of the Kindest channel. A number about something else. 3 out of 10. It is really yogurt and it will not hurt you. It is simply the only defendant here whose name is a fact about what was taken away. Next, the one that says not from concentrate, like it is a war medal. Orange juice. Not from concentrate. And very proud of it. A regular glass carries around 22 grams of sugar. The cola on the shelf beside it carries about 26. Nobody has ever poured cola on their breakfast and called it a serving of fruit. And yet here we are doing exactly that, in a kitchen, in the morning, in front of children. The juice is not lying. Oranges are sweet. That is the entire problem, and it is not the orange's fault. The fault is that you would eat one orange and stop, and you have never once stopped at one glass. Exhibit D. 12 oranges. We put a liter of it in front of the intern, and told him it was the juice of roughly 12 oranges, which it is, and asked him to eat 12 oranges instead. He looked at the pile, he looked at the bottle, and he chose the bottle, the way everyone chooses the bottle. He finished it in under 2 minutes, said the word 12 once, went a color not found in citrus, and slid gently out of frame. The court knows that he did not break a rule of biology. He simply asked his morning to do a whole tree's work before 9. The verdict of the Kindest channel. A tree without the tree, 4 out of 10. Real juice, real oranges, and a serving size that only exists because someone removed the part of the fruit that says stop. Intern down, 1 bottle empty. Next, the defendant that costs more than the meat it is imitating. The protein bar. 20 grams of protein printed in a font you can read from the parking lot, and 3 or 4 sweeteners printed in a font designed for ants with law degrees. It is a chocolate bar that went to a seminar, and the price? 3 times a chicken thigh which contains the same protein and the additional feature of being a piece of food. You did not buy it for the protein. You bought it so that eating at 4 in the afternoon would count as training. Exhibit E. The blind bar. 2 identical plates. On one, this defendant unwrapped. On the other, a supermarket chocolate bar with the wrapper removed. 9 people tasted both and were asked which one was the fitness product. 6 chose the chocolate. 1 asked whether the chocolate had creatine in it. The wrapper is doing more work than the ingredients, and the wrapper knows it. That is why it is the loudest part of the room. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Candy with a degree. 2 out of 10. And that is the lowest score of the evening, because this one charges you extra for the pretending. Next. The defendant with the halo and the dressing. The salad. The leaves are innocent. The leaves have never done anything to anyone. The sachet clipped to the lid is carrying around 380 calories of oil, sugar, and something described as smoke, and the leaves under it are carrying about 40. What lands in front of you is a bowl of dressing with a garnish, ordered while feeling superior to a man with a burger. The court has met that man. He is not the one lying to himself. 380 calories, clipped to the lid, salt as restraint. Impressive. Exhibit F. Use half. Every label says, use half the sachet. We watched 14 people open one. 14 people used all of it, and 4 of them shook the sachet at the end, upside down, over the bowl, the way you shake the last of something you paid for. Nobody has ever used half. The half exists for the number on the back, not for the ball on the table. The intern would like it noted that he used a third. The intern is currently unavailable for cross-examination. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Dressing with a garnish, 3 out of 10. The leaves are released without charge. The sachet is remanded. And now the last defendant, who is going to walk out of here clean, and you are going to hate it. The rice cake. 35 calories of pressed air. No leaf, no sunrise, no mountain, no word ending in boost. It does not claim to be a breakfast. It does not claim to be a snack. It barely claims to be a food. And every single one of those refusals is on the front of the packet in plain type. Nobody in the history of the supermarket has bought one of these and felt clever. Exhibit G. The Promise Audit. We laid all 7 packets on the bench and counted the health claims on the fronts. Granola, 4. Smoothie, 3. One of which was a cartoon of a mountain. Yogurt, 2, both numerical. Juice, 3. Bar, 5, including a lightning bolt. Salad, 2 and a halo. The rice cake, nothing. Not one. It says rice cakes, which is the most honest sentence in this building. Then somebody ate one, and the room agreed it tastes like a coaster. And that is the price of never lying. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Acquitted, 9 out of 10. And the missing point is for the taste, which is not a legal matter. It is the only defendant on this docket whose outside and inside are the same size. Court has one more thing to say, and then you can go and look at your shelf. Court adjourned. 7 defendants, 1 acquittal, 1 intern down, 1 bottle of oranges gone in under 2 minutes. Notice what none of them did tonight. None of them lied. The sugar is on the label. The dressing is in the sachet. The 0 refers to fat, and it is all written down where you did not look. The label is the product, and you have been buying the label for years, in a shop, on purpose, in daylight. The one we cleared today is the packet that says rice cakes, and then, extraordinarily, contains rice cakes. And you will not buy it, because you do not want food, you want permission. Next session. What your car says about you, and it is saying it loudly in a parking space designed for a smaller person. Subscribing is free, has no front of packet, and promises you absolutely nothing, which by tonight's standard makes it the most honest item on the shelf. The Kindest channel rests its case.